All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some really fascinating source material, and we're going to look at it through the lens of a huge, epic adventure. Think of it as breaking down the ultimate survival guide for life's crazy journey, especially figuring out how to navigate safely to our final destination. So, picture this for a second. You've just been dropped right into the middle of this massive, totally unfamiliar forest. And all of a sudden, you're standing at a giant crossroads. There are paths shooting off in every possible direction. To actually make it out of there and get home, you need to know exactly which path to take. You absolutely cannot just guess. I mean, guessing in the wild, that's just asking for serious trouble.
Well, that is exactly where a guide board or a chart comes into play. Think of it like your ultimate 100% reliable map, or, a perfect GPS that literally never loses its signal. Our source text describes the Bible in exactly this way. It frames it not just as some old historical book, but as your own personal map, designed to keep you completely safe, pointing out literally every single danger along your heavenward journey.
And here's why that matters so much. There's this intense warning from Proverbs 16:25 that says, "There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." Basically, if you're standing at that crossroads and you just pick a path because, hey, it kind of looks right to you, without actually consulting your map, you could be walking straight into a trap. Trusting your gut instead of a perfect map is just never a good idea.
Which brings us to Section 1, Beware the Disguised Tricksters.
Now, when we think about the ultimate tricksters in this narrative, like Satan and his evil angels, pop culture usually tells us to look for scary red monsters with horns and pitchforks. But the text makes it clear that's a total trap. They actually appear as masculine men with wicked faces. They have angel wings and they wear simple tunics, very much like ancient priests. So no claws, no beast features, no horns. They aren't trying to scare you. They use these really subtle, clever disguises to just distract you from looking at your map. Because their ultimate trick isn't some crazy magic show. It's simply getting you to listen to what other people say the map means, rather than reading it with your own two eyes. If they can just get you to blindly follow a huge crowd, or maybe a super popular leader, instead of actually verifying it in your own guide board, well, they've successfully tricked you. And that leads perfectly into Section 2, Read It for Yourself. This really highlights the biggest choice you have to make as an explorer. On one side, you have this habit of just blindly following leaders. The issue is, even well-meaning, totally nice leaders can be wrong and make simple directions incredibly confusing. On the flip side, you have the choice of reading it for yourself. Ultimately, your survival absolutely depends on you checking the map. You really have to take charge of your own adventure. To put that in perspective, think about the mistake Jesus' own disciples made. Even though Jesus gave them the exact warnings about what was going to happen to him, they had this totally different idea in their heads about how he was going to rescue them. Because they weren't paying close attention to his actual words, when big trouble hit, it caught them completely off guard. There's actually a really powerful reminder of this in Mark 12:24, which says, "Ye know not the scriptures, neither the power of God." We simply can't be the kind of explorers who just ignore the plain, obvious meaning of the map. If we just pretend the map says what we want it to say instead of what's actually written down, we're going to get lost. It's as simple as that. We have to read it exactly as it is. Moving right along to Section 3, Your Secret Codebreaker, Prayer. So, you've got the map, but prayer is your secret codebreaker. Look at Psalm 119:18. Open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. You see, you can't understand the deepest secrets of this guide board just relying on your own brain power. The text tells us we need to be humble, like a kid who's just super eager to learn, and use prayer like a direct walkie-talkie to the chief explorer, so he can help decode the really tough parts. So if you want to be absolutely sure you're on the right track, the source material lays out these simple steps. First, pray for guidance so you've got that teachable spirit. Next, actually open the Bible and read it for yourself. Then, compare one scripture with another to make sure you're getting the whole accurate picture. And finally, just follow that path with total confidence. And here is arguably the coolest part of this whole concept. When you actually put in the effort to study and pray, good angels act as your personal backup. When those disguised tricksters we talked about try to attack or confuse you, good angels literally surround you. They help bring the exact map directions right back to your memory the moment you're in danger. But, catch this, you have to actually read the map first for them to be able to help you remember it. All right, final section, Section 4, Stand Firm Like Evergreens. This uses such a beautiful nature metaphor. Think about the trees in a forest. During the easy times, like the warm summer of our journey, honestly, everyone looks like a great explorer. The true explorers and the ones just blindly following the crowd, they look exactly the same, like full green leafy trees. But when the freezing, harsh winter of hard times inevitably hits, those regular leaves just fall right off. Only the true evergreen explorers stay green and stand firm against those cold blasts.
The massive takeaway here is that growing your roots incredibly deep through your own study and prayer is the only way you're going to survive that winter. When you make the map your very own personal rule of life, you build roots that are so strong that when trouble finally arrives, you're going to stand firm as a rock.
So, as we wrap up this explainer and you head out into the forest on your own adventure, I want to leave you with this to really chew on. Who is actually reading your map? When you inevitably come to that crossroads, are you going to just rely on what the crowd or the tricksters tell you? Or will you be an evergreen explorer, someone who prays for guidance, opens up the ultimate map, and reads it entirely for yourself?